So I heard somebody say once, actually it was this guy called Grant Cardone. He's in the finance world, does a lot of real estate investing and so on. And he said once that being broke is selfish. And I thought it was such an interesting way to look at it because he says when you're broke, it's selfish because you can't help anybody else. And it's just, oh, woe is me, poor me, and everything about you, and no ability to, contribute in a worthwhile manner to other people. And so I like to make a lot of comparisons between wealth and health. And so recently I was thinking about health and the fact that really to have health, it takes taking care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. And so by extension, I my thought, thinking about this has been that not taking care of yourself is selfish. And it is selfish because when you don't take care of yourself, you essentially increase your risk of having lifestyle related diseases. And when we talk about lifestyle diseases, we talk about those diseases that come about because of certain choices, whether conscious or unconscious, but certain choices you make, especially with regards to what you eat, the type of food you eat, and other things, alcohol consumption, cigarette smoking, etc., etc. So if you do not go out of your way to take care of yourself so that you're able to maintain your health, I would suggest, even though it's probably an unpopular opinion, that that is selfish. And I'm going to give you 4 reasons why I think not taking care of yourself is selfish. The first one is that when you get sick, if you get any of these lifestyle diseases, and by the way, lifestyle diseases kill more people than other diseases. A lot of people think, oh, genetic things, genetic diseases, leukemia, certain genetic cancers, and just other genetic medical conditions. Those really take up, maybe account for about 2% of all disease. And much of the disease that's killing people would be the lifestyle diseases. And actually, if you pull up the CDC site, number one cause of death is heart disease, and there's a list there. They talk about cancer, and of course we know some cancers are lifestyle related. Stroke, cerebral, that's brain disease, which really a lot of stroke cases have to do with diabetes. Chronic lower respiratory disease, so a lot of times having to do with smoking, emphysema, and those things. Then there's Alzheimer's, which we know more. We're learning more and more about how you eat, and they talk about Alzheimer's being type 3 diabetes. So a lot of it has to do with this insulin resistance epidemic out there. And then there's diabetes, of course. That's further down the line. That's about number 8. But what this list of the leading causes of death, I think, don't consider is that many people might not die from specific diabetes, as in high blood sugar in the hospital in a diabetic coma, but many of the people who are dying from heart disease and stroke and so on have diabetes, and if not diabetes, many of them have insulin resistance, which drives a lot of the inflammation that causes heart disease and stroke. So even though diabetes is low down, we know that heart disease is a lifestyle related disease. It's probably related to diabetes in a lot of cases. Stroke is lifestyle related. And then at the bottom, number 10 is kidney disease, which, of course, a lot of people with diabetes have kidney disease. So essentially, a lot of these conditions in the top 10 causes of death are lifestyle related diseases, okay? And why I say that not taking care of yourself is selfish, I have these 4 reasons that I'm going to elucidate for you. The first one is that when you're sick, it's not just you. It's not just you suffering. It's not just, oh, woe is me, I'm sick, I'm suffering, I'm in pain, etc. But somebody or several people have to take time out to take care of you. Okay, and yes, we are human beings, we take care of each other and so on and so forth. But if you can avoid burdening someone, it should be your duty to avoid that as best as you can. Of course, in some cases it's not avoidable, but generally speaking, we should try to avoid burdening others. And so when you're sick, somebody else has to take time off of work. If they're not working, they're not making any money. So, the financials are being depleted. If they don't take time off of work, then somebody has to be hired to take care of you. So in those ways, it is impacting your circle, your relatives, your immediate relatives, your more distant relatives. Like, other people are being impacted because of the financial burden of taking care of you, the time taken taken away from them because now they have to do whatever for you, okay? And then of course the opportunity cost of them not going to work, not making money. Some people have to give up their jobs to take care of people. Some people have to end up settling for whatever little uh, social security or government programs to support them because they have to take care of that person who is sick, okay? So that person, because of being sick, other people have to take time out, other people have to spend money and so on to take care of you, okay? Reason number two is one that's probably overlooked, in my opinion, a lot of times. Essentially, the stress inflicted on caregivers, loved ones of people who are sick. When I see people in the hospital, that's where I get to see a lot of people. And sometimes it's people worry. It's like, it's stressful. It's always things like, oh my goodness, are they gonna die if somebody gets a stroke? And you can see the fear in people's eyes. And then even if somebody has a prolonged illness and you see the family member coming in, and a lot of times all the focus is being given to the sick person. Meanwhile, the family member is on the sidelines, and you just notice them not withering away, but you can see the negative impact of all that stress on them because they're neglecting themselves more to take care of this person who is sick. And oftentimes, the sickness, the lifestyle diseases are chronic and seem never ending. And so, this person, you see people, loved ones, you see loved ones losing weight, you see them being a little less kept, like people would initially be all, taken care of, hair done, makeup, everything, or even if it's a husband, just kind of well put together. And as time goes on with the person being ill, you can see that they take less and less care of themselves because they're putting more and more energy into the chronic illness of the loved one or whoever it is, in their circle that they have to take care of, right? So stress is really remarkable. And in fact, stress on a loved one taking care of somebody who's sick can then lead to that loved one becoming diseased. They can get some kind of disease or some sort of complication of stress. We know stress has, a significant impact on people's well-being. Okay, so just the stress of that person, the stress of worrying about if they're okay, worrying about if they're gonna die when they go to work, having to call in every hour or two, and then if they make a call and there's no answer, and just the stress and anxiety, like, oh my goodness, did they pass out, did they fall, can they not get up, what's going on, and then having to call somebody, oh please go and check on them, and they have their work but they don't want to lose their jobs, so they're afraid to leave, and then having to call the sheriff's department or whatever and have somebody go over and check at the house and check on the loved one. It is enormously stressful, okay? So that's another impact of somebody being sick on somebody in their circle, okay? Then third reason is just the fact that you or whoever the sick person is, they are not able to help. Depending on how severe the illness is, they might not be able to physically help around the house, around the yard, and so all that burden falls on other people. They might not be able to help financially, not, or maybe just a little bit, not as much because they're missing work more. So they're not making the financial contribution that they were making before. So again, the burden falls on somebody else. And then there's the emotional burden of just having to worry, oh my goodness, like how are we going to be able to make ends meet and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's reason number three, just not being able to contribute yourself physically, financially to the rest of your circle, not being able to help other family members because you just can't physically, right? So yes, that's where others are impacted. And then the last one, the fourth point, which, it's so multifactorial, just everything, how everything's intertwined, everything affects everything. So somebody who comes down with some sort of lifestyle disease and maybe even succumbs to it, but if not succumbs to it, like they just can't function, they just can't contribute. So being sick, you are not able to impart your wisdom to the the next generation. Like say you have grandchildren, you get old. You might not get old, or you mightn't survive that long. And if you do get old, you might be too sick, or if there's dementia and so on, you might just not be able to contribute and impart, that wisdom to your family members. And so they are going to suffer from not having you, okay? Suffer from not having you teach them. There's some people who have family businesses and not being able to continue the legacy of the family business because you're not there to teach the others lower down in the generation how to keep that going, okay? So that's, but you, I think that that supports my argument about it being selfish. Now I know it might seem harsh and it's probably an unpopular opinion, and but it's just when you think about the other impacts, when you remove yourself from a situation and you think about how it impacts others, you start to think to yourself, oh my, like maybe this is not about me. Maybe I shouldn't focus on staying healthy just for me, but for those others around me. Okay, because sometimes people think, oh well, I'm gonna do what I want, I'm gonna eat what I want, I'm gonna smoke what I want, I'm gonna drink what I want. It's me. When I die, I die. If I die, I die. But they don't realize that a lot of times people don't just drop dead and it's over quickly in a snap. It's this long suffering, long back and forth, long expense that can go on for years, if not decades, before the time comes when you take your last breath. And in that long period of sickness, your family members are suffering. And in fact, sometimes people get so stressed out that they actually die before the person who's originally sick. Okay, so when you're thinking about, oh, there's room for improvement and so on, don't think about yourself. Don't be selfish and just think it's all about you, and if you die, you die. Think about the others around you and those four things I said. The fact that other people in your circle have to take time out, which is opportunity for making money or just spending money that might be tight to take care of you. Second, the stress and the negative impact of stress on those people or that person around you. Third, the fact that you're not able to contribute physically or financially as much as you were before. And then four, the fact that you're not able to impart your wisdom to the upcoming generations. And that is a sad loss. Okay, so go ahead, think about eating. I think we should focus mostly on eating to prevent disease or to reverse disease more than just taking medications. Okay, because medications come with potential side effects and they only treat the symptoms instead of actually getting to the root cause. That getting to the root cause can actually prevent disease, or if it comes up, can reverse disease. Okay, so I hope you all found this helpful, and if you can think of any other way where not taking care of yourself could be considered selfish, any other point to add to the four that I outlined, please feel free to share them in the comments below. And if you know someone who may benefit from this video, also share it with them. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell so that you won't miss any of my other videos. Have a great day.